it's a great review. Yeah, beautiful card back. Yep. Wait, no, wait, what? No! No! Why would you? Oh, no! Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, gosh. Oh, I'm gonna be sick. And finally, the downright evil scammers on eBay. Gotta watch out for those. Shea Vizsla VC 101 unpunched. Wait a minute. What? Oh, for sakes. And finally, the grand champion of my terrible vintage collection card backs. I went with VC 187, Princess Leia, Bespin Escape. This image is ridiculous. I don't understand how this ever got approved by Hasbro to be manufactured. It's just a terrible picture. It's so dark. It's so dark. You can barely see Leia. Anything could have been better than this. I don't understand how this happened. Alright, and for my champion of the best vintage collection card backs to date, I have VC40 R5D4. I love droids, and R5 is no exception, and this is a perfect image. You got R5 there in the middle. The colors are very bright and clear, and as a bonus, you've got not only Luke Skywalker and a couple of Jawas, but you even got a little sliver of R2-D2 hiding there on the side. And if I'm being honest with you guys, if they had taken a little turd and put a Boba Fett helmet on it and put it in this packaging, I still would have bought it, and I still would have put it on my wall because it's that good. And for our first ever random figure spotlight on brettonfett, we're going to be taking a look at Scorch from the Saga Collection 2006, and here he is. Jodo cast. Comparing the two, they are slightly different. The Legacy Collection has a different paint job that I actually prefer. Pre-Cyborg Grievous from the 30th anniversary line. And check out this figure. He is really cool with his skull mask and all the details on his uniform. Some cloth goods would have been nice. This is all like soft plastic for his robes and everything. The 2005 Target exclusive Revenge of the Sith Darth Vader. But you can see he's red and he's buff. And Commander Neo / Seleucami Trooper. You can see here it says Seleucami Trooper, but I guarantee you this is Commander Neo. The regular Seleucami Troopers look different, and I'll show you later a little comparison. Bane Malar, the Bounty Hunter. This is the only action figure produced for the character Bane Malar. And as you can see, it is the Legacy Collection. I got that first day of issue sticker. Commander Fox from the Clone Wars 2008. Here is Commander Fox from the 2008 The Clone Wars line. This is the first line of action figures based on the Dave Filoni 3D animated Clone Wars. You can see this one is...
Whatever Fett is paying you, we'll match. And all you've got to do is stay put and let things play out.
Dave Filoni, you went and did it. You son of a bitch. So the other day, the actor that plays Cad Bane in the Book of Boba Fett, Mr. Dorian Kinji, was at one of my favorite Star Wars toy stores here in Texas, Order 66 Toys, signing autographs. So I was able to snag a couple of things autographed from Dorian Kinji, starting with this awesome promotional picture of Cad Bane. Well, that's all I have today for Cad Bania. No! Thanks. So I brushed up on my very amateurish Photoshop skills and put together an image of what I think this card back may look like. And this is what I came up with for the card back. And take a look at it. Here it is. And as you can see, it is almost identical to the Photoshop version I predicted back in early February. I think the only difference is Hasbro went with a little more zoomed in of that image, but it's basically the exact same image, same angle, same lighting. Dooku. I mean, come on, guys. How do we not have Count Dooku yet in the Vintage Collection? I mean, he's the main villain of Episode 2, and you have this 20th anniversary coming up, and you still don't announce him. It's Christopher Lee. What more is there to say?
You disappoint me. Surely you can do better.
Give us a Count Dooku on the Vintage Collection card. Okay, so when it comes to this show, I have a lot of mixed feelings about it. There was so many things that were so awesome and exciting, yet there was so many things that felt a little off, or just not right, some more than others. We're introduced to this gang of like misfit, hip teens that have changed out some of their body parts for droid parts. They're like a bunch of Alita battle angels. And they drive around these really colorful speeder bikes that's supposed to be apparently like a callback to the mod gangs of London in the 60s where they drove around these colorful Vespas. And it really just does not fit in Tatooine. I mean, look how well dressed these guys are. Their bikes are so clean. This is supposed to be like the Old West on Tatooine. It's dusty, sandy, dirty. And despite the scarcity of water on this planet, they still managed to keep their speeder bikes sparkling clean. Even though when we first saw them in this episode, they were arguing with a guy for price gouging them on water, and they were just complaining about how they're going to survive, yet they're keeping their speeder bikes sparkly clean on this desert planet. It makes no sense. And I swear to God, my 5-year-old daughter, when she saw these guys, she asked me if they were the Power Rangers. I mean, I know that's an internet joke going around, but my daughter was not aware of that, and she still asked if they were the Power Rangers. That's how silly these guys are. I mean, look at this video. They're in this ridiculous chase. It's like the slowest speed chase ever. And look at these guys. Look how dapper they look. I mean, who dresses like that on Tatooine in Star Wars? I mean, look at this guy. He's in a nice, like, 3-piece suit thing. And I mean, it's just so silly. I'm having a hard time explaining exactly what I mean. I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say. It just didn't sit right with me. Alright, and there's a look at all the 10 figures, aside from Boba Fett and Fennec Shan, that I'm really hoping Hasbro will put on a Vintage Collection Book of Boba Fett card. Oh my gosh. They released Black Chrysanthemum, and this is just one of the worst things I've ever seen from blackseries. Just a really poor attempt at getting a figure out quickly. They clearly just took the Chewbacca figure and painted him black and threw some stuff on there. And it's just a disaster. It looks nothing like the character. Now, in 1975, George Lucas had this vision for the Star Wars, and he was really trying to sell it to 20th Century Fox. And in order to do that, he hired Ralph Macquarie to do the art for the storyboards to show the company what this vision was. And Macquarie just did this amazing job. He had this Art Deco style. He drew these beautiful pictures for Tatooine and the Death Star and Mos Eisley. And it really helped sell the picture to 20th Century Fox. So, you know, we always think of George Lucas when we think of Star Wars. And Star Wars definitely was his vision. But Ralph Macquarie was the one that really brought that vision to life, in my opinion. A very different Luke. He's got this interesting breathing apparatus on and goggles as he's facing off with Vader. And here's the figure. Just one of my favorite versions of Luke Skywalker. I love the mask apparatus. So moving on from figures, I want to show you my Hot Wheels collection of Macquarie concept art. And I'm going to do something special for you guys. I never do because I'm an inbox collector. I'm actually going to take this figure out of the box. Alright, and as promised, I have taken Paz Vizsla out of the package, and I have to admit this was a little difficult for me being an inbox collector that never opens stuff. But definitely well worth it. This figure is awesome. Alright, so I just wanted to compare for you the original versus this new release. Dirge. Dirge, this is probably my favorite character, or at least my favorite villain from the show, and probably my favorite figure. Alright, so there's my wish list of 6 figures to be featured in Wave 2 of the Vintage Collection Tartakovsky Clone Wars series. And growing up, when I was a little kid playing with Star Wars, Aside from the medical droids, 21B and FX7, the bounty hunters were my very favorite figures. These figures came out when I was about 4 years old. My brother had them, and I would get into his stuff and play with them, and I absolutely love these guys.
A what?
A Grail?
And this is the 2019 San Diego Comic-Con, where it's got the retro color scheme for Boba Fett, and it's on this amazing iridescent card. Okay, so here's a closer look at my original 12 vintage Kenner Star Wars figures. None of these are particularly rare in any way. These are all Hong Kong country of origin, but they are from the original 12 from 1977, and they're all in pretty good shape. Obviously, I haven't gotten them graded, but I took my time collecting these to find, the best deal I could for the best condition figures. Okay, so it would not be a brettonfett top 10 Holy Grail items without Boba Fett in it. So, of course, I've got him in here. And at number 2, I've got the Droids card back version of Boba Fett. And I saw an armorer catch my eye, but then I had to do a double take because when I looked at it a little closer, I saw this. A Mandalorian miscard.
Oh, it's beautiful.
This was the first time I have ever seen a miscarded figure in the wild, in person. I never thought I would see this sort of thing. It's very rare to come across a miscard, and it's in great shape. I know you can't tell because of all the stupid fake weathering around the edges and everything, but there is...
You're going to get it graded, aren't you, Brett? You said you're going to get it graded? Yeah.
I'm gonna send it into AFA.
Oh,
It's in really good shape, too. Like, there's no blemishes on the card. Yep, so I finally got my miscard back from AFA. I sent it on May 1st, got it back October 18th, so about a 5.5 month turnaround, which is not bad, but just so disappointed in the grade I got on this thing. I really thought this was an excellent card back. Look at this thing. I mean, my God, what happened to the bottom half? It's just so dark.
Yeah, it's so dark, and it's... Yeah,
I mean...
I don't know what's going on, because they have the photo, so
I mean, are you telling me this is what you went with to sell your product, this picture? Out of all the things they could have chosen for the job, all the scenes in the desert. I've been wanting this figure for so long, just didn't want to pay the aftermarket prices for the original version. What an amazing card back. The figure is great. The new head sculpt is so much better than the original. Shout out to whoever was in charge of bringing the Old Republic characters to TVC because they did a great job. Alright, so let's take a look at what I came up with for the mock-ups. As a reminder, here's a quick look at the original versions of the Expanded Universe cards. And here is my proposed changes. Here's a reminder look at the original version of the cards, and here's my proposed changes. And then finally, for my proposed mock-ups, I have the 4 Gaming Greats figures, the first wave of Gaming Greats figures. Here's a reminder look at what the original cards look like, and here is my proposed changes. Alright, so next up, I want to keep this Droids theme going by spotlighting a handful of Droids figures in a new segment for my channel that I'm going to be calling Droid Service. R5J2, R4K5, R4M6, R2B1, R2KT, R2D2, R5D4, R2D2. Look at the color of him on the image. It's like a rusty orange versus the figure is a bright, vibrant red. This is a total fail, in my opinion, with the card back image. I don't understand why the huge difference in color there. The SK620. This is a Chandrilla Starline. I won this figure as a drawing from a local toy store in Texas called Order 66 Toys. I was completely shocked I won this. I rarely win stuff like that. But man, what an awesome looking droid. This, of course, is exclusive to that Disney cruise, Star Wars fantasy cruise. That's really a fake should cruise. Be. We bring in the VC and you just see how ridiculously small he is. I mean, it is just silly how small that guy is. And so putting them all 3 together, so far, the one on the far right, the episode 3-3PO, is my favorite. But I do have the Vintage Kenner loose graded. He is an AFA 85. And man, I just love this figure, and he just looks so awesome in that custom acrylic case. That is FX7. This guy is from Power of the Jedi. I've been wanting him for a long time. He is an awesome droid figure. Look at the detailing on this guy. It is the Galactic Hunt or foil version of the Magna Guard. What an awesome... Number one, my favorite Rogue One figure in the vintage collection. I have VC-127, the Imperial Death Trooper. Awesome figure. This is one of my favorite vintage collection card backs. He just looks so fantastic standing in front of that fire. And for number one, you probably saw this coming. I have Director Krennic. Krennic is the main villain of the entire film, so it is absolutely ridiculous. This far in, we have not gotten Krennic on a vintage collection card for Rogue One. Alright, so here are the two figures from Knights of the Old Republic in that 30th anniversary line, starting with Darth Revan. Alright, so here are the two versions of Revan I have in the Black Series. I went ahead and put my bad Photoshop skills to work once again to come up with a rendering of how I would love a TVC card back to look like for both Revan and Malik.
When the time comes, he must be trained.
Like you trained his father?
I haven't gone by the name of Obi-Wan since all before you were born.
We'll take her to the medical center, quickly.
Okay, but by the way, I'm going by Ben now.
For reasons we can't explain, we are losing her.
It's Ben Kenobi now.
We don't know why. She has lost the will to live. We need to operate quickly if we are to save the babies. She's carrying twins.
Okay, but for the record, before these kids are born, I want everyone to know I am no longer going by Obi-Wan. It's Ben now. Ben Kenobi.
Obi-Wan.
It's Ben now, actually. I started going by Ben before the children were born. Were you not listening? And for those of you keeping score at home for figure releases from the new series Obi-Wan Kenobi, that is a whopping 11 figures for the Black Series versus only 6 figures for the Vintage Collection, and of course 6 figures from the Retro Collection. Now the big issue here, of course, is the lack of figures in the Vintage Collection, since we know the Retro Collection typically only gets 6 figures per series anyways. But yet in this case, the Retro Collection did even better than the Vintage Collection because they've got more mainline characters, i.e. the Grand Inquisitor, the Fifth Brother, and Ned B. And with Andor, it's even worse so far. We've gotten 9 figures revealed for the Black Series as opposed to just 2 figures for the Vintage Collection. Well, we're going to rank the Princess Leia figures for the Vintage Collection. And to help me do that, I have a very special guest with me, my own daughter, Sienna. Say hi, Sienna.
Hi.
Tell everybody how old you are.
I'm 5 years old.
5 years old and already a Star Wars fan. And what do you think about this figure?
I don't really like her eyebrows and her lips because she looks mad.
Again, another mad princess. Yeah, she does look extra mad in this one.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with you there. I don't think her face should be that quite mad for this particular version of her. Alright, so here's a look at all the figures from the Empire Strikes Back Bounty Hunters I want to take a look at today. And just for fun, I threw in the Lego minifigures from my son and I's collection. You may know that I am a collector of these. I do love these prototype figures, mostly because of the card backs. These are amazing card backs. Now, I wasn't as excited about the Chewie when it first came out, but having it in hand, I do love it. I love it just as much as the others. Good, and you can see next to the others how well these pop. I mean, these are like artwork to me, so I'm just going to keep collecting them as long as Hasbro puts these out. This is Boba Fett. And it is a very cool version of Boba Fett. As you can see, they kind of worked in that vintage style bluish color And he's got the soft plastic cape there, which is a nice little touch. But man, look at the details. You got the Wookiee braids and everything. So first up in Caitlin's collection, you have General Grievous, one of my favorite characters from the prequel, and a character that was prominently featured in the Disney Infinity game. So it's beyond me why they didn't produce a figure for this one. But oh god, you're kidding me. It's just stuff I'm selling. It's stuff I'm selling. Stuff I'm selling. The hole is entirely too small. You know, even if I could fit it in the hole, the hole is way too shallow.
That's what she said.
And bought the Black Series Bo-Katan helmet. This thing is gorgeous. I've had my eye on it since it came out, but I don't collect helmets, so I just... Oh, no way, dude. No way, man. No way. It's the Black Series Boba Fett from Empire Strikes Back. He was absolutely right. I did need an upgrade. I have basically a child's toy version of this. And I just never got around. I don't collect helmets typically, so I just never got around to buying this. Dorkside Toys had a sale on the Mandalorian helmet for $79.95, I believe. And so I just had to pull the trigger on this one. I've always wanted it, but I don't collect helmets, so never got it. And now I've got 3 helmets for my non-helmet collecting collection. Alright, so here is my 2018 San Diego Comic-Con Dr. Aphra comic set. And here he is in all his glory, the Iconicon Boba Fett by Stan Solo Creations. Very cool looking, so cool I had to put this thing in an acrylic case for display. And looking at the figure itself, it's so beautiful looking. I called it vac metallizing earlier, but the description on their website says it's actually electroplated. And I'd be lying if I said I knew the difference between vac metallizing and electroplating. So here's a summary of what I came up with if Hasbro were to make a special wave of animated Ewoks figures, and that is Wicket, Logray, and Poplu. So in summary, here are the figures I'm predicting if Hasbro were to put out a special Return of the Jedi inspired Power of the Force line, and that is Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight, General Lando Calrissian, Wicket, a Warwick, Gamorrean Guard, Biker Scout, and the Emperor. Okay, that's all. Oh god, it's so heavy. And here he is, the new Jumbo, the Mandalorian from Gentle Giant. I love these retro style card backs they do. I think they're better than the Hasbro Retro Collection because they don't have all the fake weathering. And I love the fact that Hasbro did not try to go with that fake weathering around the card back like they did with the Star Wars Retro Collection that I hate so much. I can't stand that fake weathering. They made a...
Queer.
Bye, Felicia.
Stingy.
Now, I mentioned earlier that I'm not a big fan of the sequel trilogy for Star Wars, so it is ironic that my number 2 pick is from the sequel trilogy, and this one's from The Rise of Skywalker. It is the Sith Trooper. And what an awesome figure this is. I'd say I had very high expectations for this figure based on what I'd seen from Hasbro, and I'd say it met those expectations, and maybe exceeded a little bit with respect to the articulation. Just beautiful looking packaging, and it's really awesome how it velcros and opens up to display the figure inside. Next up for the vintage collection is the Boba Fett Morak from The Mandalorian. What an amazing looking card back. I love the image they used. I couldn't have picked a better image myself. Just an amazing head sculpt they've done with these Fett figures lately. But again, the helmet fits perfectly. It's just the right size. Unfortunately, the rangefinder does not rotate like on some other figures we've seen. It's just that squishy soft plastic. But that's the only downside of this figure I see. It's an awesome, awesome figure. And I love this. I can't get enough of these Mandalorian troopers, warriors, commandos. Give me all of them, different colors, every day, all day. So the really Death Watch Mando definitely wins for best card back of the 5. He is one of my favorites, and he's up there for figure of the year in my opinion. Overall, with the exception of X-Woves, I'm extremely happy with all of these Mandalorian figures. The only thing that could be better is if Hasbro were to give us a Gar Saxon figure for TVC. That would be really cool. Fingers crossed that happens someday. So the pre-orders for that vintage collection Tartakovsky Clone Wars wave started to go out from Walmart. Unfortunately, it was a Walmart exclusive, and they are famous, or should I say infamous, for not packing their Star Wars figures very well, and figures arrive damaged all the time. Although I think this latest delivery may have been overall the worst we've seen. The majority of people I've seen on the internet received at least half of their order in mailer bags, and that includes me. And when I saw those packages on the doorstep with the mailer bags, you know, I just had a sick feeling in my stomach because I knew it was not going to be good.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
And, you know, sure enough, the figures that came in the mailer bags were severely damaged. Bubbles dented, holes in the bubbles, bubbles coming off the card. The cards were just bent, creases everywhere, just basically ruined. And then there's those dreaded Walmart exclusives. We have to worry about whether or not Walmart's going to send it to us in one of those mailer bags. Well, it's not that bad.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Tim, this is going to be an awesome wave. Can't wait to get that Stormtrooper. We've been needing that one.
I guess the only negative is that they are Walmart exclusives,
which is
always a bit of an issue. But hopefully they'll be able to improve their packaging and distribution and things like that, and there won't be a problem with pre-orders.
Oh, no. Have you guys predict for my pre-orders how many of the figures show up damaged. Damaged. So we've got our first damaged figure here. Let's see what we got here. Oh, the Stormtrooper. Now wait a minute, this one may be okay. We got our first undamaged figure here. But unfortunately, because of that crease, I'm gonna have to deem this a fail. This is a damaged figure. Look at this thing. I kind of looked at this and I figured this one's got no chance. I mean, it looks like somebody drove over it with, you know, those look like tire tracks. So this is going to be deemed damaged, guys. This is a pass. This is not damage. Guys, this one is a pass. So undamaged. All right. So I would say 50-50 is actually not bad for a Walmart wave. But in addition to whichever prize you pick, I'm throwing in the Papalu as a bonus. Okay, so the results of the contest are in, and the winning number was 3. 3 damaged figures from my order, and there was only one contestant who guessed the number 3, and that winner is Collecting Star Wars. Steve-O from the YouTube channel Collecting Star Wars.
He's no good to me, Dave.
So here in the 3 acrylic cases are the 3 exclusive figures from the Razor Crest HasLab, the 2 carded figures Grogu and the Offworld Jawa Elder, and then the Mandalorian loose figure that came with the Razor Crest. Like I was saying, in spirit of Halloween, we're going to be counting down the top 5 scariest vintage collection figures. And we talked about this. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Anyways, what I was saying is my voice is still a little bit scratchy, so forgive me, as I'm probably going to sound a little bad throughout this episode. Okay, guys, I'm so sorry about this. I gotta do something. Just give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I told you it's not my fault you didn't get your own medal. I blew up the freaking Death Star, and you're gonna take my medal? Why don't you talk to Dodonna or Mon Mothma or Leia? Why can't you just wait till the sequel trilogy to get your own dang medal? This is absurd. You look ridiculous. I hope you're happy with yourself. You know you look ridiculous. Flavor Flav thinks you look ridiculous, man. Okay. Big boy. Here is the brand new credit collection version of the Dark Trooper. I have to admit, when I ordered this, I was a little on the fence about the design and really just ordered it because I wanted a carded version of the Dark Trooper and figured this is the only carded one we will get. But here in North America, it is a Target exclusive.
Target exclusive? What if he doesn't survive the packaging and mailing process? He's worth a lot to me.
And I have to admit, this one has always irked me, because this was another special mail-away exclusive figure. He's not canon with the film, and so this would have been a perfect opportunity for another VCP number. To me, this should have been VCP-04, but instead they gave it VC61. And so this is a nightmare for OCD collectors like myself when you have a 3-pack where 2 of the figures are consecutive numbers and the 3rd figure is way different. Now, right off the bat, the first thing you may notice is the difference in shades of yellow used for the name pills. This is unbelievable to me. The 5s and Echo is kind of a mustard yellow, and the Jessie is this bright yellow, just completely different. So very frustrating for OCD collectors like myself. All these figures you see at this point are the same exact figure, same mold, just different versions of paint. And as much as I love something about each and every one of these versions of this figure, I think most of us in the hobby will agree it is long overdue to finally retire this mold of Boba Fett. It dates back all the way to 2013. It's almost 10 years old. All 3 of these guys are new molds, and just compare them to, you got the Republic security droid, a very tall droid, but Ned B is still taller than him. So just wanted to show you guys the 2 next to each other. And then look at the Dark Trooper. This actually surprised me. For some reason, I thought the Dark Trooper would be about the same height, but he's actually taller than the Dark Trooper as well. So what's going to be my strategy for collecting Black Series moving forward? Well, for one thing, most figures that are especially deluxe figures, I'm just not going to buy unless they go down on discount. Hasbro really missed the boat by including the Purge Trooper with this. That is an army builder. And buying these 3 figure sets is not ideal for army building. But this card back is awesome. The figure is pretty good. And I'm just really glad to finally get this guy in my collection so that I now have all the Star Wars card back figures for TVC. At number 3, I am very thankful for the continued improvement with the quality of the figures that Hasbro is putting out in their Star Wars lines, Black Series and TVC. We are getting great new molds. We are getting really good repaints, smart repaints. The face sculpts, particularly with TVC, are amazing. We've got some new molds for Mandalorian figures in TVC and Black Series that are great. And again, some really smart repaints for TVC. We got some awesome Boba Fetts this year. And, you know, the face sculpts for him are excellent. Just really good stuff. And to top it all off, we got an excellent definitive Darth Vader from that Obi-Wan Kenobi line. Just an awesome figure. Mint on card collectors such as myself were very afraid that Hasbro was going to take away the plastic bubbles on the packaging and give us something like this, which is an actual Dungeons & Dragons figure Hasbro put out.
Nope. No thank you.
By far, the number one thing I am most thankful for when it comes to the Star Wars toy collecting world is the generosity of the Star Wars collecting community. And it's not just channels. I see it on Facebook groups and Discord groups. Collectors helping each other out, watching out for sale deals, or selling items to fellow collectors for a really good price when you know they need that figure. I mean, it's just amazing. The Star Wars collecting community is one of the best communities. I am so happy and lucky to be a part of it. Thank you so much to those of you who are active in the community and take the time to help other collectors out. And a huge thank you to all of you that have supported me in my new channel, whether it be from simply subscribing to my channel and watching my videos regularly, or giving me advice, or leaving me helpful comments, participating with the videos. You just don't know how much it means to me, and I could not have done this without you guys.